All right, we are recording. Welcome back to the Aussie Minifan show. I am, of course, the number one Aussie Minifan, and joining me is my protege, someone that exists in my shadow. Jackson, hello, how are you?
Thank you. Very rude of you. At least I rock up. We got another guy who. What's going on? Is it you? I think it's you
No,
because behind the scenes, he will DM me. Great
it's got nothing to
guy.
do with me. Jamie got the shits when Kirk took his 6 week break, and we're still doing Unnamed show. So maybe that's why he hasn't turned up or replied to any of our messages about the show. Or maybe he just doesn't like both of us.
No, that's not true. I know that's not true.
Okay.
Um, big night overnight in Australia, wasn't it?
What happened?
Cricket, the Cricket Unfiltered podcast changed its logo.
Oh, you noticed.
I did notice. For anyone who's not aware, I'm referring to we had our federal election last night, so it's a joke for literally like one person. Anyway,
I didn't even care about the election. But
wow.
yeah, we're recording this Sunday night our time. One of the reasons this show's making a comeback is Jackson's fed up with dealing with time zones, and Tim in England, and Minifans in America. So the good thing about the Aussie Minifan show is we recorded a decent time. So it's about 5 a.m. Boston time. So not a good time to go live on the network. But I guess as we're recording this, Jackson, probably Mary and Justin are snuggled up in bed listening to Taylor Swift. Yeah.
I'm so like that whole like story is so past now. Like with everything that's happened in the last week, like I just could not care less. It's probably all a bit, but I literally have nothing on that. Like that's so done now.
Wow.
I was actually gonna say that it's actually been. I think it's been a good week for you. You've I think you've regained some more fans. You had a good eulogy. Your show it got a bit emotional. I think we all appreciated it. So
Mm.
one issue with that though is it's like the only show on the network.
What are you talking about?
What's happening with the network lately? The network's
Well, we're
totally dead.
straight into that, straight into what's happening with the
Well,
network.
that's a lot of what people are talking about is the fact that you've now settled down with a new partner, and don't tell me you haven't noticed the timeline is perfect. It did start around the time that Kirk went on his break, and you've gone on probably half a dozen dates now, if not more. Actually, it's probably more. You're at a point now where you're seeing her so often. It's probably a few times a week. Swapping from each other's houses, and concurrently, the
Not quite.
network has Hot or Not, with great show, but it's the only show. Well, I guess shout out unrelated show we had this week. Shout out Bobby Costa and Brando, but otherwise, even Kane's gone. Where's Kane? Is he all right?
That's just bullshit. I mean, Kane's still around. He's going to do his show, but he blows hot and cold, and also, he had a pretty tough time there for a while around just everything. So he's taking a little break. We've still got the Brando show, which is a regular staple. I do a number of shows. Unfortunately, we lost Cinema was, a consistent contributor. So we've
That's not the
lost.
angle. That's not the angle I was taking. But I mean,
Well, you bring it up. You're being an asshole. So
Brando's been on every week.
blame the dead guy, dickhead.
Where was the Brando show this week?
People are allowed to take weeks off. Like we've said that. You cannot sit there with your goofy looking smile when you and Tim do like one show a month, if that.
Yeah,
if
but
that.
you know why. You know why. Whereas I know.
Don't give excuses.
Brando's got a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the network.
Okay, Brando has a lot of excuses because his girlfriend has 3 kids, which he's virtually bringing up. Brando's racist as well, so he's probably got clan meetings at night. He's a busy guy. Kane is a hardworking chef. I've also told Kane sometimes maybe it's good to take a step back. So maybe every now and then he thinks it's better for him to take a week off. So the network is flying. Unfortunately, we cannot find anyone that wants to host Mike and the Minifans, and no one wants to be on Mike and the Minifans. So when you don't have a host and you don't have any panelists, it's pretty hard to do a show. And it's so boring. I can't believe we started the Aussie Minifan show talking about network stuff. Anyway.
Well, you got me fired up. Yeah, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Well, anyway, continue.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Is your great segue about Mike and the Minifans is you heard on the Unrelated show is the Spaces have totally killed everything. I don't know about the network in total because people still tune into the shows, but Mike and the Minifans, listen, this week was hard because Quinlan had his little spaces with his soccer people, and that was horrific. Like everybody knows it's horrific, but otherwise the Spaces dominates. I know you disagree, so feel free to put it out there.
I just think they're unrelated.
How would you revive it? How would you revive it?
They're unrelated. The network and the Spaces are totally unrelated. They're totally different things. So, but I do think it does actually nourish some of the same people. Like a lot of the people in the Spaces would be in the YouTube chat, but then in the Spaces, there's only 30 or 40 people. There's not that many. I mean, the network shows are watched by hundreds of people. So it's not quite the same. I just don't think they're related. Mike and the Minifans has been an ongoing issue basically since going back to before the war when Joe was doing it and we had a great team. And when that team was split up by Kirk and John because they're idiots and BA, the show's never recovered. And Mick did it for a few weeks. Everyone with half a brain knew that wasn't going to last. Mick was going to get pissed off about something and stop.
Right.
And I'm not going to host Mike and the Minifans because that means then there's no other Menas Live or anything like that. So it's just taking away one show for another. It's not worth it. So until we can find, if someone came to me like Stein who wanted to do it and said, I want to do Mike and the Minifans, that's great. But then finding panelists is really hard on a Friday night. So it's just one of those things that has died. Its golden period was during COVID when everyone was at home. And I would say, if people want to point the finger, they should look inward. Like they can be doing more. Like John from Scranton put out a post today about, I'm not doing anything for the network. He didn't even know we were doing a show tonight. Like he's so on his own fucking planet. He does a meeting of the minds on Thursday with a bunch of losers when he could have been doing something on the network. I mean, he needs to look in the mirror and wonder what more could he do. What?
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, you said Bradley Stein. Now he finishes his contract on the 27th, I think, of June. That's an option for you.
But and also just like philosophically, when Kirk's doing 3 or 4 shows a week, do we need more than sort of 4 or 5 good shows a week on the network is enough?
Well, like I said, we got 1. And speaking of the person on the show,
true. I do 3. I do 3 on my own, maybe 4. Minifandom, Menas Live, Aussie Minifan Show, Menas to Midnight, MNS, which is gone now, but it had a golden run.
One thing I didn't have on the list is, I know, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with talking about the Spaces, but one person who it's really affected. One person that's really affected is Tommy Quinlan, who every day now he does these Spaces, and I don't know why. I don't know if they're just curious or it's something inside, but everybody asks him about his sex life and how gay he is and all this, and Tommy loves it. Like, I don't know if he's flirting with these guys, but he loves it. He's on for 5 hours in a row just flirting with apparently straight men. I think converting a lot of people because he makes arguments that people seem to get be convinced by. My thought was, I think if you pitch the show to Tommy, I think he's obsessed with the attention so much now that I think he'd jump on it. I know everyone would hate it.
Yeah,
I know most people hate Tommy Quinlan.
And no one would go on with him, so that'd be the problem.
Well, he might have convinced a few people.
Yeah, the Spaces have kind of got a bit tired and old now. I think they had a golden period, and it's sort of being bled dry now. Too often, there's certain people. I'm not even going to name them, but when they're in there, they just devolve pretty quickly into rubbish. And I'm going to say it again. All right, I get really pissed off, and you're probably guilty of this. And I was talking to people in the last few days, people going in there playing slap and tickle with Wagon. I'm sorry. Wagon fucking went way too far. He assaulted mini ladies at a live event. John and all those idiots don't have the guts to stand up to him. No one will draw a line, and no one should be hanging around with him in Spaces, joking around. He's a scumbag. He's a fucking piece of shit. And worse than that, worse than his actions, he wouldn't even own them afterwards. He just tried to pass them off as not being that bad. he was hammered. He went way too far. He upset a lot of great people at a live event. And I get really upset when Minifans just hang out with him like nothing happened. Like, we should be better than that. We should absolutely be better than that. And too many Minifans excuse it, and it's disgraceful. And he's never owned it. That's the other thing. Like, he's never owned it. He's never said, I went way too far. I was hammered. I shouldn't have done it. He makes excuses, and he's the lowest of the low. And all these people that hang around with him on Meeting of the Minds and in spaces, and I'm surprised at the people that are chatting with him in these spaces, because this guy's a scumbag, like an absolute scumbag. And I don't get it. Like, he was going up to Minna ladies and whispering in their ear shit he was going to do to their pussies in front of their husband, not in a joke. He like pinned like Lauren Lynn against the wall and pretended to fuck her. Like, this is not joking stuff. Like, and this is how like men get away with it. Like, I just, it's disgraceful. And I think anybody that hangs around with Wagon in a space is a dead shit. You only ever hear me. If I go in, I usually go in, tell Wagon to fuck off and then leave. I mean, yeah. And so if you're in there hanging out with him on any show, you're basically saying that sort of behavior is okay.
I guess. I mean, I don't really. I know that I've heard the story from a while ago, but I don't know the guy whatsoever. Like, I wasn't deep in it back then, so I don't really.
Well, I've told you now. I've told you what he did. Him and BA went on a fucking bend.
I just don't want to. I don't want to rehash the story, but like, I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, what's the, like, what's the?
Well, I don't understand. You hear him in these spaces now. He's a fucking dead shit, and people playing slap and tickle with him.
They all are. We all are.
No, but okay, but okay. So say
he's
Jake.
He's making the same. Okay, jokes as
yeah, but say Jake.
I don't know the fucking.
No, but say Jake, right? Jake is a dead shit, right? But he hasn't fucking physically assaulted Minna ladies at a live event. There is a difference, Jackson. Like, did your fucking pea brain get that?
No, I know that, but I just don't know. Like, I'm over here, and like.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. I'm over here too.
No, but like, you're in deep. I don't know.
I've seen footage. I've seen footage of what he did. I've seen photos.
That's
of what
the sort of story where back in like what 2020 is that when that was
2022. I think 2022 or 23.
I listened to a story like that about Minifans. I go, I don't know these people, and for the most part, I tune it out because it has nothing to do with me, So like, it's I don't.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I just think, yeah. I hate all the people. Like, John's a rat. I mean, he's always going to hang around with anybody. Like, he just can't make a decision.
Okay, well, I got nothing on that. I got no comment.
Anyway, I just wanted to make a comment because he's just been hanging around a lot lately, like a bad smell, and I'm disappointed in the Minifans. I think it's okay.
Have you confronted him directly, like, in these spaces?
Yes, all the time. That's all I've ever done. If I've gone on with Meeting the Minds and he's there a long time ago, I've just told him to fuck off, and I've usually left. Like, I won't do anything with him. Like, he's a scumbag. Like, we don't want these people at live events. Like, if women feel unsafe, that's gross. Can you imagine going up to like being drunk and just whispering shit? Like, Jodie Axe was like one of the victims. Like, she's the sweetest, loveliest person, did so much for the network, and he's like fucking like drooling in her ear and saying shit. Anyway, I don't. It's
right. Anyway. The hard thing for me as well is the other thing is like there's a lot of narratives that are around, So especially if I'm not that close to it, you hear like Freddie Lid's brothers are drunk, and you go, oh yeah, Freddie Lid's brothers are drunk. Well, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm just throwing one out there. I don't know. Some of these things aren't true. Anyway, feel free to segue this one because I don't know how to.
Yeah, I've got lots to talk about.
Okay.
So a few things around the show. And this it's been a really tough week with cinema passing away. I mean, this is, as Kirk said, been the worst week in show history. And I imagine, the service on Friday was very moving. The tributes we've seen and the tweets and stuff, it just sounds like an incredibly sad occasion. So I'm sure we'll hear about it on Monday. But so I don't think this, I think this is going to be an ongoing process, grieving cinema for the show, for the Minifans. I do wonder which Minifans went to the service.
Do you have any clues?
No, I don't.
Okay. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I'm just curious. Like, I wonder how many Minifans went.
You're going to say Kane.
Kane, yeah. Kane was a pallbearer, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. But, Yeah, I'm sure in Monday's show we'll hear all about it from Kirk and the guys, and I'm sure it's going to be very moving because those services, there's such an outpouring of emotion when it's, such a tragic circumstance like that. So they would have been through the ringer. That sort of thing can stay with you for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? But I keep forgetting what I was going to say. I did appreciate though the all the shout outs on like the dozen and Pardon My Take. And I think Spit and Chicklets. I don't listen to that show like a couple of times. He's been getting a lot of shout outs. So I appreciate that. Yeah, of course. Actually, yes. That'd be the biggest show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I think everyone's done, a good job of honoring cinema, and the Minifans will continue to do it. So in that spirit, I was flabbergasted on Thursday when Justin said he would go and do the ice cone vending on Saturday, May 10th during basketball tryouts. Is he so dumb? Like Kirk, it was almost like not even like a Venus flytrap maneuver from Kirk. He just like enticed Justin by saying, "Oh, you can still do it." But Justin there was supposed to say, "No, I want to be at basketball." That's the way I read it.
Wasn't he joking? Like on a big dead set? Like wasn't that
Kirk?
I didn't buy that at all. No, Justin. Like aren't we all aware that was that was a joke reply?
No, I think Justin's going to do it.
No.
I think he is. You really think he's going to be at the basketball?
Yes.
Well, I hope so. I hope you're right.
He has to be, surely. Oh my God. That's I mean, there's already too many red flags around these guys with their commitment.
No, I think you misread that. I think.
Oh no, I'm gonna go back. That's
Justin.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Like this is the biggest. This is the Cinema Lords Trophy. Like this is the biggest game. They have to win this game. Everybody has to be there. All hands on deck. That's crazy if he's not there.
I know.
You not agree?
Oh, absolutely. And this is a trick from Kirk. Like
I'm going back and listening to that because that's crazy to me. I blew that off completely because I was like, yeah, he's just joking.
No, not at all. Because Kirk was like baited him into it, but like, oh no, you can do it if you want. I don't want you to miss out on the money. Because some people speculate, and I'd be curious on your opinion on this, that Justin is just getting paid absolute fucking peanuts, like 30, 40 grand a year. Like he lives at home. He's never been a head producer. So Kirk's like, hey, here's your opportunity. And guess what? Here's 30, 40 grand. And you can do your snow cones and all that stuff. So I won't stand in the way of that. And that's the way he does it. I don't think Kirk would do that. I think he's probably getting paid more, but that would seem to make sense.
Doesn't he pay $50 a week in rent? Isn't that what it is? I mean,
no, it's fuck all. That's nothing.
Like I'm not trying to, no.
Exactly. So that's nothing.
But like that's yeah, right. He's in a perfect living situation, So I don't know if that's quite a thing. Like it's weird. He's a committed guy, but it seems I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Very concerning. That's a red flag. He's got to be there. I can't believe that for a second.
And he doesn't seem to do much. I don't know. Justin, I don't know how much he does when he's when the show's off and stuff. I don't know. Like, I'm just, asking questions. But, maybe if he's not getting paid that much, he feels he doesn't have to.
Much leave and bring back the Justin show. What do you reckon?
He can't miss this thing next Saturday. He can't, for Justin's own sake. Like, he's just got to say to the snow cone people he can't do it. Like, yeah, it wasn't a joke because I listened to it twice, that episode, and Kirk sort of said, "Oh no, you can do it, don't worry." And Justin was like, "Oh, you," and then he was like, "Okay, I'm going to do it," and then
no, I can't believe that. I got to go back. That's nuts to me. I'm baffled by that. Yeah. How many people are going to go to this basketball tryout? You reckon?
Well, didn't they say more than 50? Didn't they say they had 30 people or 25 already?
You think everyone's going to? Someone like people will still sign up or whatever until like the day before. I reckon they're gonna get numbers. They'll get people drop out too.
Yeah,
but I have no idea. Like, where are they doing the trial?
No idea. I don't know the area. No idea. Okay. But they need a couple of really good players. So I like Kirk's attitude that he's going to be looking for a couple of guns to put into that team. He wants to win for cinema.
Yeah, who gives like they'll become characters, you know? Like who gives a fuck who they are?
But those tryouts are a huge opportunity for content. Like if I'm Justin, I don't know how I can. If I'm Justin, who's apparently lead producer of KMS, I have no idea how I can miss that day because literally no. But do you agree? You could be making videos that you're releasing for 2 weeks from that. You know, clips.
Oh, nobody's asking. Yeah, nobody's arguing that. Like, oh, yeah, it's content. It's a content machine.
You're gonna have people like Steve from Gloucester, Kevin from Bristol. You know, I shouldn't make this joke, but like, you know, one of them might need medical assistance. Like they might, you know, like someone needs to brush up on CPR because they're going to be some old fat fucks running around that court. And
what do you reckon? Loves a bit of acting. What do you reckon? Like Kevin in Bristol comes out in a wheelchair or something, you know, or like on crutches. You know, like one of those old lady ones in front.
Yeah, yeah.
Know? I could say something like a Steve from Gloucester bit. You know, well, he doesn't do bits anymore, but you know. I could see it. You know, an old grey Kevin in Bristol coming out. You know, on a pusher.
Yeah.
Someone's going to do some bits. You know, I remember Cliff when he had his promo video. You know, he was dribbling, you know, onto the grass. So someone will do something.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'd be great. But yeah, Justin, obviously, I can't buy that for a second. He's going to be
there. Well, I mean, I hope you're right for his sake because if he's not there, that's maybe the door open for Coleman to come back. That's the okay. I'm checked out. Like, or then he just concedes he's not the lead producer. Like I've been saying for months that Cullinane's the lead producer, and that's it.
How I don't have the answer to this question. I just thought of it now. But like, how serious do you think any rumblings are that Kirk might actually get rid of one or two of them? You know, a change might happen
with the producers.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't think it'll. You know, Kirk's never going to fire anybody at all. We've seen that, so it'll be, but perhaps, and I don't know what's going on. But if they ever sort this legal stuff out, Cullinane goes to the case, and maybe Kirk needs to bring someone in to help Justin out. And then Justin could just check out. Like maybe he decides he wants to spend more time with Mary. He wants to concentrate on the snow cone stuff, and he quits the show. But there's no way Kirk's going to fire anyone.
Why would Coleman come back?
It's a good question. That's just a speculation. But you're right. Maybe he doesn't. He said before he doesn't know if he wants to live in Boston again. So maybe he doesn't, and then Kirk has to find someone else.
Yeah, he said pretty clearly like being at home is really, you know, no joke, pretty serious to the guy. So like he won't come back.
Yeah.
Like, obviously if it was some financial thing, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought I had because he's always joking about getting rid of these guys, but
he never.
It's one of those things like with I don't know Cullinane or whatever. Like there's when it is coming to an end, it's always when you listen back, you know, the jokes become more and more common. Then all of a sudden, you know, Cullinane's quitting kind of thing, you know, and then you go, fuck, I didn't even see that coming. So I'm just wondering if that's one of those things where Kirk's going to make more and more jokes, and in a month it's going to be like, fuck, I should have seen that, you know.
Yeah, maybe he'll like push Justin out the door for not showing up to this basketball thing, but he's not going to fire anybody. And there's no real good options. Like Kirk doesn't like bringing in strangers or people that haven't been in the show world. So does he go back to Montante? No, Montante won't do it either. So
well, then another question is like yeah, what are you rooting for? Do you want to keep Justin to stay as he is? You want him to somehow improve? You want a new producer?
No, I love the show, so I'm happy with Justin and Cullinane. Like they're just average. I've accepted that. Justin got very sensitive about my criticism around I don't know if you noticed that, but when I said that they didn't make much of an effort for that cinema tribute show, like they didn't have any video clips, they didn't have much audio. Justin got very snippy. He was like, "Oh, what am I going to clip up highlights of The Last of Us recap?" Like, there's so much content with cinema in it.
No, I stand with the producers, just in the fact of like, because I saw that and I was like, that's ridiculous. Because, like Kirk said, like Justin called him crying, like he would have been a mess. Yeah. And if I knew him like as well as like Justin would, I would have been the same. And I probably would be like now, like I'd still be thinking about it and getting upset about it. So what you want the producers to go through like hours of footage of this guy that they're crying over and like cut it up and shit.
Well, I did say that, didn't I? I did say that. I did say, look, they are grieving, so
I thought it was crazy. Like if a guy on the outside, like a confused duck, wants to do that, that's perfect, you know. But the producers doing that, I thought was nuts. What about like Fax? Fax is an intern.
Well, I just think, you know, like the way I look at it is from Justin's point of view. If you really want to pay tribute to someone, then you put yourself through that, because, you know, how many people are going to listen to the podcast? You know, 100,000 people, maybe more. So you're doing it for them. You're not doing it for yourself. But, you know, I'm a big picture guy. I think bigger than you and Justin and that kind of thing.
Fucking, you're a flog. It's just, I don't know. I put myself in the shoes and I thought that I couldn't do it. I would outsource that.
Yeah, it was really hard to what. Yeah, and he could have asked Fax to. Fax was probably crying too.
Yeah, I'm wondering why you didn't take my opportunity to shit on Fax. Like I hung it out there and you just left it, you know. Anyway, Fax been busy.
Yeah. So, but Justin got very snippy about it, and there is a middle ground. They could have done better with the tribute. I think they didn't have to go through hours and hours of stuff. But they could have found some funny stuff, and they just used what was on Twitter, and they didn't even show videos for people watching on YouTube. I mean, it was thoughtless. And you know what doesn't add up? That Sunday,
I can't believe you're shitting on a fucking death tribute. I don't know. That's very, to me, that's very. I feel weird about this. You're just dumping on it. Like they did a fucking breakdown tribute. Like, I was getting emotional about it, and you're like, "Wow, they fucking did a shit job." Like
I didn't. I'm just being honest. Oh, okay, well, I guess that's why I'm a producer and you're not. And then
yeah, right, okay.
So there's something that doesn't add up on that Sunday, right? Because so everyone's talking about this whole thing being a bit for Justin. So remember, originally Mary's name was Kate, but then Kirk didn't like that because his daughter Kate, so he changed it to Mary. So her real name's Kate.
Sure.
Remember, he talked about that Sunday. So that Sunday, allegedly, Justin went to Cinema's house for the memorial drinks, because that was the Sunday where Kane clogged the toilet, and that was Sunday, right?
Right. Yep.
He also allegedly went to Revenge of the Sith with Mary Kate
later that day,
and she fell asleep. Right. And he also allegedly, in the same day, Mary Kate met all of Justin's family. Remember, he said she met Bubba and stuff. To me, it just doesn't seem. I mean, I guess you could do that in one day, but he says he was at cinemas till 4. I don't know when it started, but
how long is the movie?
Well, the movie's over two and a half hour movie. I mean, I guess finishes at cinemas at 4. He goes, picks up Mary Kate.
They're gonna eat. They're gonna eat. So they had dinner in there.
Yeah, they meet Bubba. And then they go and see. It all seems fishy. It just all seems a bit weird to me. Like, I don't know how those timelines can work out. And apparently, Cinema's place was miles away, so you got to factor in that there's a lot of driving going on at this point. Like, it's not like all the
isn't it like an hour and a half away?
Yeah, and remember, Justin lives an hour from the studio, so I don't know how long it's going to take him. It might take him 2 hours each way. So just seems all a bit fishy if this Mary Kate's real or not.
So I haven't thought about it for a second, but I love it. I'm all in. Like, I want to deep dive that. I want it to be fake. Fuck that, you know. Even if she's real, it's a crazy bullshit situation that makes no sense, and she's clearly psychopathic, as he is.
Yeah. As I said, I think she's intellectually disabled in some way, and that's how her and Justin sort of make.
Yeah, she's clearly not like ugly, right? Because they've seen so.
Well, she could
maybe she's like Walter White Jr. or whatever his name is. You know, maybe she's, I don't know, something's gone.
Yeah.
I don't put that out there, but you know.
What did you? So looking back at the week of shows on KMS, so we talked on Monday. Talked a bit about with Mama Kay, and Kirk responded to that by saying he wouldn't have wanted anyone else there instead of Mama Kay. And I think I said many times they should have just cancelled Mama Kay, not.
Well, that's why he said that.
Yeah,
it's the same. You know, I love Mama Kay, but it's the same thing, really.
Yeah, I just think maybe she shouldn't have
No,
been there.
and it's a woman's touch. Actually, I just disagree with myself. Like
Yeah.
I think having a woman's touch in there is good.
No, yeah, but I just felt it was unfair
time.
on her because there wasn't. She didn't say much. There wasn't much room for her.
I don't think she'd agree. Let's put it that way. I think she was probably happy to be there for that.
That's true. Then who was the third chair on
Sellers?
What Sellers?
Yeah, with Blind Mike.
Yeah, that was a good show. A great show. I love Sellers on the show. I think he's fast becoming, one of the best third chairs. Fast.
Terrible laugh though.
Don't have a terrible laugh. It's not the gambling chat.
I'm not in the gambling chat. I'm just fucking mocking Blind Mike.
And then Friday, it was
Thursday.
Who was it? Steve from Gloucester and
yes, with Mike. Yes, which
what did you think of Steve's appearance?
I think we actually talked about it later because I tweeted it and he replied, so we had a conversation about it. Okay. I think he's a zero now.
Yeah, zero. Wow.
Yeah, I think he kind of just offers nothing. I think he just kind of giggles and agrees with whatever the conversation is. And I think he's got more than that. I'm not going to say the word talented, but I think there's because when he first came in, it was sure. Listen, I think people love it or hate it because it was all Bitsville, right? This Italian accent and blah 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 blah. But I kind of like Bitsville, so I like the guy early, but now it's nothing. That's my takeaway. Just nothing. Like that's one you could have canceled. You really could have canceled. There was nothing that happened at all.
He's been scared and scarred, I think, too many times now by
because
he can't take a punch.
He's had his nuts cut off. Right.
Can't take a punch. He can do his consistency podcast and criticize others, but when it came back at him, he couldn't take it. I actually disagree. I don't mind him as the third chair because I do think he can hang with them, and he's like a decent dude, and he actually doesn't babble on too much. But you're right. Like if they said he's not going to be in for another 3 months, no one would be like, oh wow, that sucks. I was really looking forward to Steve. But I did think some of the things like he said were just absurd when he goes, I just want to ask you, like, should I be allowed to try out for the basketball team? Because, cinema, taking cinema's spot. And he said it with like not a joke, not in any way.
You're right. He's shitting himself. He's fucking shitting his pants. Yeah. He doesn't want to like rock up, and then Kirk says "fuck off," and now he's back on the cable where the fuck he is.
And then when he had that sort of activity, he goes, "Oh, look, I don't know if you want to play music because it's like because of cinema. Like I don't know if we want music on the show." And so instead, they played the funeral music. Like that stuff was amusing. Like he's just such a big dumb idiot.
Okay, so you like him with his nuts cut off, then? You kind of like.
No, I don't. I agree with you though. He doesn't add anything. As I said,
he just literally sits there. The topic is blah blah. This movie. He goes, yeah, that's a good movie. He just agrees and laughs a little bit, and then
he can chat a bit. He can chat a bit. Like it feels like you're at a coffee shop, and he's just the third wheel. If you went out for coffee. If I went out for coffee with Kirk, Mike, and Steve, you just expect Steve to be.
Yeah, but there was something there, like he fought, he'd have just bullshit stories and fucking.
But he had a glass jaw. He had a glass jaw, and he was probably Bitsville. So when you're making up bits all the time, then it all just floats away. Like he says, he's dating. It's probably bullshit. Like he's just saying that because he wants something to talk about. Like. And because Kirk says he's doing something this week, and he's like, "Oh, maybe." Like,
yeah, that's another kind of vibe he gives off. Is like he's not being totally, upfront with everything. Which kind of leaves the audience of like, fuck, like, come on, like at least open up a little bit.
So I just wonder if like the producers actually think about these things because, I was a big fan of bringing Steve from Gloucester back. But he's been back. He's done 3 or 4 shows. I think you're right in that he's not a regular third chair. He's a once a quarter, maybe check in with him if you're stuck for a spot, if that. I just wonder how Cullinane and Justin are assessing the third chairs because, you have to say, like when the show was off, The only two people that had any buzz about them, and it was mainly negative, were Brando and Kane. Like they were the main two Minifans who were just getting shit on throughout the break and doing content. And they haven't been in yet since the show came back, which has been strange. So I don't know.
Brando's on in a week. Do you know who's on this week? Like, do we know already?
They said it. They did say it on Friday.
Is it played against Sports Guy?
I think so. So.
I think it's probably to. I don't think we get Steve Your Life to tape again anytime soon. Maybe not too soon because he got shat on a lot.
But I just wonder, like, how Cullinane and Justin do it. Do they go, okay? Do they have the conversation between them? All right, let's, because it changes. Like, you know, I wanted to bring Steve back, but you know, we've done that now. It's probably time he takes a back seat. Mama Kay, I think she hasn't run a course, but I think she is. You know, once every couple of months, you'd bring her in. Like, you've got to be thinking about this stuff. You know, who's hot right now?
I think what they do is literally what I just did, which is Cullinane on like a Thursday night. I don't think Justin has any input. I think Cullinane on like a Thursday night probably goes through all the episodes here and goes, we haven't had Freddie's Birdies on in a couple of weeks. We'll get him on. We'll get Mud on a Wednesday. All right, Brando. Okay, we'll get Brando on this week. Sellers done. Lock it in.
Yeah,
I reckon it's 20 seconds.
Yeah,
and then the group chat probably gets messaged, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's why every week when fucking Kirk goes, "Who's on next week?" and he goes, "Oh, blah blah blah," and you go, "All right, I guess Cullinane," you know.
Because I don't understand, like the people you want on. Like for me, Sellers, Montante, the two that should just be in as much as possible. Like Montante was in the area last week and wasn't in there. Don't you just
that pisses me off.
Don't you just say to Steve? Don't you just say to Steve from Gloucester, "Hey, sorry, don't need you," and bring Montante in? So why not?
Of course.
As long as you give notice, as long as you don't do it the morning of. Like if you do it a day or two before and say, "Hey, like change of plan, we don't need you." That's showbiz, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and for us, like fuck it, like we didn't give a fuck. Lost my train of thought again. God damn it. Anyway, you go. Sorry.
Well, we'll talk, was it about third chairs? Yeah, but I'd like Montante and Ted Sellers in as much as possible.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So they've been so bad lately that there's a lot of talk, like a lot of Minifans that are like, let's can the third chair. Let's just go back. Let's just go back to, like, I'm telling you, a lot of talk are like, let's go back to just Mike. We'll get Mud in, you know, and then maybe every once in a while. But like some people are just like Mike and Mud, you know, like that's it. Let's get a call, like the first like 2 years or whatever the hell it was. I don't agree. Even if you do like once a week, like every Wednesday or Thursday, whatever, the middle of the week, just a random person once a week, and then you don't have these people. I don't know where you're at with any of this, but a lot of people are on the side of like the third chairs are just so constantly shit and don't bring anything. Let's keep a regular thing going.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as I said, they should have an assessment process. Like, I do think, you know, they should basically sit around and go, is this guy good enough for the show? Yes or no? Steve, Your Life to tape. Are you good enough? He's not even listening.
Me?
Oh, sorry.
No, I turned it down. No, I just turned it down.
No, they should have an assessment, and then right. So they have they have their people that qualify, and if there's not one available and it's just blind Mike, then that's it. No problem.
Well, my thought is, so what's the qualification? Because I like the idea of a network show. Like, is that what you do? Do you have a network show one-on-one? Or
no, I just mean like a qualification is you give someone a go and you go, would I have them back? No, you know, like
okay.
And then because I do like the odd wild card, like bringing in someone to meet a new Minifan. So I disagree with those people, but I also don't think it's a big deal if it's just blind Mike, Kirk, Justin, and Dave for some shows.
No, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. There's too many good people that we need in the rotation. Yeah, you kind of named it. You Montante. The fact that they refuse to get Bobby Costa and just pisses me off. I've been campaigning for this for like 9 months because he's just said I just need 2 weeks notice and I can take a day off. He said that for like 12 months now. Like, fucking, what are we doing?
Yeah, and they're acting like it's so hard. I mean, it's ridiculous.
My God, the guy works. Yeah, I mean, we can schedule a day off. Like, that's how life is. Anyway, whatever. Fucking pisses me off. He had a good parody song this week.
Yeah, he did.
I can't remember the words, but shout out.
I'll tell you what. Another thing that annoyed me was when were they talking about Jeremy Renner has a new book coming out,
okay.
and Kirk said, oh, I don't want him on the podcast, right? And Cullinane and Justin were like, okay. If I'm Cullinane, I'm like, so Justin, I know is a spineless piece of shit. He's never going to do anything. If I'm Cullinane, I'm like, so Kirk, if Jeremy Renner wants to come on your show, you're going to say no. Like, you really, like, you don't want that publicity. Like, you really can't find anything interesting to ask Jeremy Renner. Because for me, if I'm the producer and you can get Jeremy Renner, I reckon you 100% do it. He's a big name. You definitely could get clicks. Kirk's a great interviewer. Yeah. Kirk's a great interviewer. You just go, Kirk, I think you should do this. Like, I'll get a copy of his book for you from the publicist. I'm sure if you read through it, you'll find some interesting stuff to ask him. Like, you might not think he's interesting from what you know of him, but there's probably stuff you don't know. That's what I'd say to Kirk.
Dumb question, because I don't know movies or actors or whatever. Is he like in reach? Like, is that a possibility?
Is he what?
Is he like in reach? Like, is that something that could be organized?
Well, I think he's promoting.
It's not a movie podcast, you know. Like, you imagine.
No, you're right, but I think he's promoting a book. So I know from my podcast that's your great chance, because there is a big correlation between going on podcasts and book sales. So you might get him. I certainly wouldn't rule it out. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, because they just sit there. Okay, Kirk. All right. Here, hold my balls. Hold my balls. Here you go. Here are my testicles, Kirk. Hold them for me.
It goes back to, we just haven't had anyone like that since Steve, And
yeah.
Coleman's actually got a bit of attitude. So if he did come back, he's got a little bit of that. And especially now that he's kind of left and the Minifans love him more, he kind of has got a little bit more cocky. I could see that. But that's not, you're never going to get that. You're just never going to get that out of Cullinane and Justin. So good luck. Kirk says makes it. It's not even serious. Like, surely Kirk would have Jeremy Renner on, right? So is he just doing a little bit? And
he said he would.
Like, all right. Cullinane and his head's like, all right, sick. I don't have to fucking send any emails out. That's great. How many a week? Every week, how many emails to people does he send, to agents and stuff? Like, how often is he trying to get people on the show? Every week.
I reckon not often.
Is he sending 3 emails a week to try and get your guest on, like a famous, Paul Reiser kind of?
Yeah, I don't know if famous guests really matter, but I mean that episode where they had AJ Meadow.
It's effort. It's effort. The point is effort.
Yeah, and none of them do it.
We feel like there is no effort. That's kind of the point. I don't give a fuck if they get another Paul Reiser on. Yeah. It's the fact that the producers have gone to an effort to actually try to make the show better.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm trying to be happier with the show because, it's still great.
I hate shitting on them nonstop because I like the two guys. They're both fucking great guys. I'm sure I'd like them in person. Cullinane's a fucking funny guy. The hits is the best. But it's just we just want what's best for the show. Simply.
If I was their boss, I would get so much out of them. There's so much potential there, but they just need guidance. They just need a great leader above them.
That's why when you start the Menace Live Patreon, you're going to need probably an associate producer or two. So I'm sure Justin's salary is low, like you said. So
that Patreon has never happened. I've been talking about it for a while. Yeah, can you imagine Kirk would just kill me? I'm not going to do it. Anything else? We've got some listener questions, but one of the reasons we wanted to do this was because you said you got some things you want to get off your chest.
Oh, listen, we've really gone over most of it. I mean, I got a couple of small notes. What are your thoughts on how often does Mutt volunteer on a Tuesday for 3 hours? I just love that. I don't know. It's not that I have a whole lot to say on the topic. I just love the topic. I think that was the funniest fucking bit. I actually believe him. I think he does do it often. He knew all about it. I listened again to the interrogation that Coke did. And Mutt had all the answers. He knows what's going on. Don't fucking try to fuck with Mutt.
I hate Mutt, and him lying and telling those people to say he wasn't there, and then running out to say hello to Justin. I mean, just such a little scumbag. He just reveals himself to be absolute fucking bottom feeder. I mean, the fact that he doesn't like Tim and Canton, he thinks he's above the Minifans.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was fucking nuts. That was nutty. The fact that he's I don't want him there. What the fuck is wrong with you asshole?
And all weekend, there's been stuff from Portnoy and Elio betting on the Kentucky Derby, and Mutt's fucking at some pub getting paid fuck all.
Yeah, right.
But I said ages ago Mutt was a prick, and people sort of laughed at me. But I think he is. Like, I think he's revealed himself.
I think he is I don't know the guy, but like he clearly is a bit of a cunt in in whatever way.
And it's so funny because it's the inverse. Because Kirk is a prick on air and super nice off air. Mutt is this nice fake radio guy, and off there a stuck up wanker. Like, I just so disappointing because I used to like him on radio. I used to like him on radio, and
I did like a lot though when Kirk starts his interrogation. Like Mutt goes, "Yeah, I do it every Tuesday." Kirk goes, "So you did it last Tuesday? Last Tuesday? No, couldn't do it last Tuesday." Like, all right, try to make it believable, but I think he does it. It is funny.
Speaking of Minifans, I went on Andy Mayo's podcast, Better Work Days, and I think...
Has that dropped? Is that out yet? Because
I'm not sure that is ever going to be released, especially not on the Better Work Days podcast. It turned into sort of a counselling session, me counselling Andy, but maybe I'll release it on the Minifan Network feed if I can convince Mayo to let me release it. But he went full Mayo. It was full Mayo. Minifans would love it.
How do you compare it to his Brando show appearance?
It was in the same ilk. It was in the same.
So it was like an hour?
I can't remember. It was like 40 minutes, but
okay. So it was 40 minutes of him being like, how do I grow as a person?
Man, I was sort of talking to him about, I think he's self-obsessed, and I love Mayo, and he's great to work with, and his podcast is fantastic, Better Work Days. But and he feels, I really enjoyed chatting with him, so I'd love to release.
Oh yeah, but you asked him, I want to put it on the network, and he said what?
No, we haven't spoken about it yet. And if he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to, because it got quite personal. So Minifans are horrible people. So maybe he doesn't want it released.
Because I would love to hear that.
I would love you and Tim to hear it. I would
love to hear it. Oh my God. Tim listened to it 4 times.
It was like 2 old ladies like yabbering and fighting with each other. It was funny.
Because Mayo's like my favorite psychopath. He's perfectly crazy, I think. So I would love to, I don't know. Any more show notes? I guess the only other thing I really had in terms of the show was, I don't know if you care, but this golf tournament that they're doing. Do you give a fuck whatsoever?
The Fonz golf tournament?
Shout out to Fonz. And I was talking about Portnoy's fucking...
Oh, right.
$1 million.
I'm in the Fonz. I don't know if you know that.
Wow. Yes, I do know that. Congrats. Shout out.
Well, that's a huge stab in the back for Foreplay to have said maybe Kirk's a bit too hot for it. Like, that is a huge stab in the back. It was interesting how upset Kirk got about it, because like, I think that's a real change in Kirk. Like, a few years ago, if he wasn't included in some Barstool event, I don't think he would have cared as much. But now, because he's, Kirky Barstool,
this is like, his guy. This is Riggs.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I guess this actually was a listener question I got, and I'm reading it right now. If Kirk isn't going to be in the Invitational, what's going to be the fallout? Like, what is? Does he go scorched earth? Is it like a big cat thing?
Yes.
Do we not? Okay.
I think all so. Right. Riggs becomes public enemy number 1. I think we need a new enemy, and if Riggs is the guy, I mean, if Riggs really didn't stand up for Kirk, that's what I don't get. So say I don't know who else is on Foreplay, but say that producer or someone says, oh, maybe Kirk's a bit too hot for it. Riggs has got to say there as Kirk's friend, no, I really want Kirk there.
Right.
But I'm guessing Riggs is a pussy and just sort of sat on his hands.
You just can't imagine that, can you? Like, again, I don't know how well we know Riggs, but I don't know how tight are they? They're not that tight, are they? But like,
I think they are. I think they're very tight.
Really?
Yeah.
They talk on the phone every week?
I think so. Yeah. No, I think he Riggs and Jeff.
Well, that'd be nuts. That's fucking crazy. Then, if Riggs has an opportunity to say something and he doesn't in that situation, that's unbelievable. Like, that is a new enemy.
That would be wild not to have Kirk there, because he does provide those viral moments that generate buzz. Like, it's just irrefutable evidence. He's done it at almost everything, and he can back it up. Like, he's a good golfer. Like, he's not liability. He's a very good player. So it's.
I do get it though. Like, so these other competitors that.
Okay, all right. You want to? So you're on Riggs' side.
What? No. I was more going on the point of him getting in people's faces and being loud.
Yeah.
I get the angle of like, so all these YouTubers, like, they're all famous, they're millions of followers kind of people. So they're all egomaniacs, right?
Yeah.
Like they all think they're the man. Well, imagine like missing a shot and getting Kirk run into your face and getting fucking screamed at. Like, this isn't the fat producer from fucking Foreplay.
Come on, man.
Like, you
don't think they're not going to they'll know who Kirk is. He's an internet sensation. I think.
I don't know. I'm not in the world. I'm not in the golf world. But like, how well? You don't think like some like fucking big ego guy might really take offense to that and fucking? Yeah. We're not throwing it down, but you're not buying that at all.
No, I get. I mean, I get that.
I'm playing devil's advocate. Listen, it's crazy. He's
devil's advocate, but I just think it's bullshit.
Okay.
I do think the Unnamed show's got some good momentum recently. I think it's been very there's been a lot of KMS stuff sort of floating in and out of there.
Yeah, like for like months now. For months now, it's been KMS related.
Yeah,
which fucking my favorite part of the show. So
yeah, because it's like Thursday's show is always shorter, like KMS. It's always usually limited by Unnamed, like there's the hard out. So. Yeah, Unnamed kind of continues on. Dave seems a bit more plugged into it. Like, he's actually seems to sort of be a bit more plugged into the show. So, it's good fun.
Dave had skin cancer, didn't he?
I don't know.
Didn't Dave Portnoy have skin cancer?
Maybe he did. Yeah.
Have you seen how like brown he is? If he, I'm pretty sure. There's no way he takes that seriously. The guy's fucking like black. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that was a takeaway that someone had the other day. I saw them when they're up against two fucking pale Boston guys. Anyway,
do you think the show talks about Belichick's girlfriend too much and Mutt too much? Because when Sneakers does his little topic roundups where he predicts what they're going to talk about, he's actually pretty close to it. Like, they're not really looking far for interesting talking points. And then when they do, like, Justin brought up some awful talking point last week. It was just. Like, Kirk was like next.
The Belichick thing is like the biggest news. Like it's big news here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's overblown, and often being a dropkick.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's also overblown.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind the Belichick talk, and it is tarnishing his legacy, like 100%. Like, people just think of him as an old joke now, and I think it settles the debate. Like, if you're going.
Brady, you're like facts now. You're like facts on Mike and the Minifans. Like, when we start fucking talking about lines, who you got?
If you're going Brady Belichick, you're going Brady Belichick legacy. Brady's legacy is like 90% now. Like, Belichick probably did nothing.
I like the idea of people tuning in here being like, finally, we get to hear his take on Belichick.
I'm a sport guy. All right, so I've got some listener questions. So firstly, I've got Tim Smith just sent me one, but can I just tell you, and this is where the Americans are on board, the English are such pricks. He's such a condescending cunt. Like,
I hate it.
The Poms just really rubbed me up the wrong way. So I mentioned to you about the Mayo thing before, about how he asked me when it's dropping, and I said we're scrapping it. Then he described to me how I could share the audio file with him privately, like how I could send him an audio file. And I replied to him, I know how to share an audio file privately, you English cunt. Like right. He doesn't need to be like a condescending fuckwad.
Just tell him to send you his real name, and he'll go silent on you. So
and he sits. Anyway, here's his question: Is pre-marinated and deboned whole chicken in a bag from Woolies still a hugely popular thing to put on the barbecue?
Why are you leaving that for me?
I don't know. Do you get marinated?
You don't get the old rotisserie chicken in the bag?
No. So he's saying
Isn't he talking about chicken and like the old?
He's saying you cook it. You cook it. So this one, it's in and you cook it. Yeah.
So what? Explain it again. Tim, this by the
boneless
way, this is
butterfly chicken marinated.
Hang on, this is like mayo. This is like mayo. You're about to like perfectly explain why people don't like Tim Smith. But anyway, continue.
Anyway, so it's basically a boneless chicken marinated, and you cook it at home, right? So the other thing is I've seen these, but the other thing is, and you would know this, and they probably do it in the States as well. At every supermarket here, they just sell cooked barbecue chickens in a bag.
My favorite, yeah.
Ready
the
to
tradies handbag. You just after work, you go in there, you fucking pick it up. You get your pasta salad. You're out.
I've seen these rotisserie deboned chickens, Tim. They do still have them, but I don't get them. But yeah, like the pre-cooked chicken. And now that I'm a bachelor as well, and like live with my daughter, but it's they're perfect. You just pick them up. You got
the best. It's the best.
So the question
have you can I ask you another question? Sorry, while we're on the topic of foods and cuisines, have you just now given your dating situation? Have you been trying any different cuisines? Any different cooking, shall we say?
Not really. No, not yet.
Well, she's from Zimbabwe. What kind of Mother, say that? What kind of dishes are we talking? No,
nothing. Like she had like curried goat at her place, but not for me. Okay. The question from Tim Smith: what's yours and Jackson's go-to barbecue offering if you're cooking for a group of 4 friends? I'll let you go first. You're a Barbie guy.
It's a great question. It's either chicken wings. Chicken wings are the best.
Chicken wings, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe some pork cutlets.
Wow.
Thoughts?
Okay.
Some crumbed pork cutlets. I love
on the barbecue. You're gonna crumbed pork cutlets on the barbecue.
Yes. No, I'm
How
not.
do you cook that on the barbecue?
I'm kidding. No. Yeah, no, not crumble on the barbecue. Yes. Okay. I love my pork.
Okay, good. I mean, obviously sausages. You can never go wrong with sausages, onions, that kind of thing on a barbecue. I've been really getting into T-bone steaks recently. Love a good T-bone. I don't know if they have that cut in the States, but you get on each side, you get a bit of sirloin and a bit of fillet. So
interesting. What are your thoughts on something I've thought for a little while is the fact that in America, all their hot dogs are like fried or whatever. They like grill them. Like
you mean they're Frankfurts?
Right, they're like grilled. Whereas here, like we steam them, we like boil them.
I grill them here. I love grilling them.
Do you? Like anywhere you go, you go to footy games or whatever. Like it's the hot dog is boiled.
Well, that's the same in the States.
That's just our culture.
Well.
Really?
As well. Yeah.
Everywhere I see, like everyone,
they do it better. They do it way better.
Baseball games, they're throwing them out to people like they're fucking. Anyway, whatever. It's just.
I like them grilled way more than boiled.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. All right, some questions. John, did Manners get a small taste of pussy and completely forget about running his network? Now, I've answered that question. I'm always running the network. In fact, there's a new episode of Billboard Chart Guys podcast coming out tomorrow. Like, John wouldn't even know about Billboard Chart Guys podcast, Jackson. Like, he wouldn't have seen it. Like, he would have no idea it's going out every Monday. You have to agree with me. Like, him calling me out is like very ironic.
To his credit, he does know. He is aware of its existence, and he is honestly telling you he doesn't listen to shit. Yes, he doesn't listen to it. Can you spoil it? Because this isn't coming out till tomorrow. What's who's the guest?
Blind Mike's fan. So some anonymous Minifan we haven't heard from before.
Can I just say, I know it's been said by like 6 people, so it's not breaking news, but that is the best show. Like, he is the best. He's the best host. He brings great stuff out of people. All his guests have been fantastic.
John would have no idea. John would have no idea.
Show. Everybody should listen to it. Like, he is really the best. He's such a great professional, and I've learned it's like every show that comes on, I'm always pulling out my phone and like Googling shit that they talk about. So it's very interesting. Great show.
I do some production work on that to make it sound better for Billboard Chart Guys. So John would have no idea about that. So I find it upset. But I just noticed the retweets from that tweet. Some guy called Gabe. Then we had Robbie V. Robbie V's become a sneaky clout guy. Like and I find Robbie V like the biggest hypocrite because he goes, "Oh, you do everything for clout," but he does these little videos where he sort of spits out his takes. I mean, anyway. But Brando reposted.
I'm a Robbie V guy.
Brando retweeted John's tweet. So I
see this.
Tried to make. You go on, yeah.
Well, Kane's on fucking planet Mars, right? Brando, we don't know if the show's coming back. He hasn't got a producer. I've been pressing. I've been trying to find out. It's a shambles.
I'm always here to help anybody. They can use my StreamYard. I've said that many times. I've told Brando this. He knows this. Brando, like, he's a sneaky dickhead, and I tried to make peace with him, but I'm like, if he wants me to ruin his life, I'm just going to keep doing it. Like, I'm just not going to stop. I mean, if he's going to retweet things,
what the fuck does that mean? Like, what? What are you talking about?
I'm just like,
DM his girlfriend again.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to DM his girlfriend. I would never do that. But I'm just going to make his life difficult if he's going to be a little prick. I mean, you have to say, in those spaces, he goes to racism very quickly. Like, when it's not recorded. No.
There's a lot of that. There's actually a lot of that. Yeah. I don't
from
do
him,
that, but a lot of people do. Yeah, correct.
Especially from him.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
So I think
the black accent though is accurate. I think. From the outside, I think his black accent is very accurate.
So I don't know, like if Brando's girlfriend who has 3 kids wants Brando like hanging around it.
All right, I don't think I disagree.
No, fuck him. Fuck him. I don't like Brando. He can give it, but he can't take it. So he's a dead man. He's a fucking dead man.
Yeah, but you know what the home situation's like, and you're putting this out there knowing that she's probably going to watch it.
She's not going to watch.
She will.
I think. You really think she's going to watch the Aussie Minifan show? You really think she's going to watch the Aussie Minifan show?
I think somehow, because he's
it's a joke. As Kirk said about Mary, it's a joke. All right, it's a joke. All right,
I think there's like a 70%.
But I really think Brando should break up with her. Like from one person to another. What? Okay, so if you had a friend, right, and they meet someone with 3 kids,
I
would say
about everything you're saying. Anyway, continue.
Why can't you can't have a real conversation? That's the problem.
Airing him out,
I'm not airing him out.
You are. You were telling him you're on a fucking network saying he should break up with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend might watch.
Because I think he does. I think he should.
Okay, all right.
Friend.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Real friends actually offer guidance.
I've called a guy.
Okay. All right. He can go fuck himself. CG. Another question. Do you actually like the show anymore? I think I'm pretty consistent that I love the show. Like. You could not listen to any of my shows and think I hate the show. You'd have to say that.
I do say you've been on here a lot of compliments. That's all I'll say. This is very compliment. Usually you come on here and you're shitting on everyone. You've been very, in terms of the show and Kirk and the producers, you've been very complimentary.
Yeah, it's a great show. Like they just.
You have said you're I'm trying to be more positive about it. So I don't know how good that sounded. I'm trying to like it more. No,
I'm just trying not to be like pick apart the producers all the time, but I've just accepted, for example, after a break, it takes a while for them to get going. Kirk is the only creative driving force in that building, Justin and Cullinane, and that's it. And, I love the show. I think I think these, when I think the awful thing with cinema is, again, highlighted what a close community it is and how much love there is, when you brush away all the, when people say people should break up with their girlfriends and people are mean to each other, when you brush that all away, there's a lot of love between Minifans.
We're all good souls. Yeah, exactly. We're all great people. Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, actually. You said it really well.
Thank you. Domain, what happened to the network and specifically the flagship Mike and the Minifans program?
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody's asking. This isn't just like me coming here and attacking you. Like, I'm the messenger.
Yeah, but you know the story better than anybody.
That's why I'm asking, because I've got to represent the folks out there.
But you know the answer. You don't need to ask me.
I think the network's crashing. I think you need to.
You think the network's crashing?
No, I'm kidding. But I think they're valid questions. I
guess if you're not someone plugged into the network drama, you might wonder, where is it? Mick did it for a few weeks, but that was it.
Bree from Hold On Not.
Oh,
she's fiery.
Yeah.
I guess you're a fan.
So I guess we've kind of coming to the end of the Aussie Minifan show, so we can sort of indulge ourselves a little bit.
Sure.
I guess on the network, Hot or Not is just this weight kind of dragging it down. That Brie girl is insufferable. Like her Quinlan and John is just the worst combination. Just like
it's just three queens,
three people that just cackle insufferably at dumb shit. I mean,
if you want to, if you want to believe that John's straight, don't ever watch that show. I would just say that. I love John, but if you're worried about his sexuality or anything, don't watch that show because you'll come out probably a bit confused. But three just catty queens,
And do you agree with me? Like he's a little bit of a hypocrite to call me out because that Hot or Not show is not for the Minifans. Like, and I'm dead serious. Like, if you put that on a channel for homosexual men or women, I actually think it would do better than it's doing now. Like, no, but you agree with that show's not for Minifans.
I do. Of course, I agree with you. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't know. I don't agree that it's not for Minifans, but I do agree that it'd get more numbers on some fucking gay network.
Yeah,
it's very funny. What's the gay network? Can you picture it? Like, is there actually like RuPaul's Drag Race Network or something?
Well, I'm sure there's channels aimed at the homosexual community. I mean,
I'll ask Tim Smith.
Yeah, he'd know.
But I like the show, but it's the issue is for me. And you ready for hypocrisy?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little too long. They need to cut it a little bit. I think the last one was like an hour. It was spot on. It was fucking perfect.
Yeah,
because they get their clips and shit. Yeah, well, see, that's the hard thing. It's like they'll go on 10 minutes where you're like, oh, this is fantastic and gripping, and then they go on 5 minutes of she's telling stories about Florida. It's like, literally nobody gives a fuck, while sitting there. For some reason, she does this podcast. She's never wore pants ever, so I think that's a red flag. Sitting there in a bed with it. With a thing of red. I don't know what you're picturing right now. You got your head on something.
No. I was
pulling up videos.
I agree.
Another question. She's back. I've had it confirmed she's coming back.
No, that's a shame. Know that. It's a shame.
So, shout out Hot or Not, I think Tuesday.
What happened with the Unrelated show? You were supposed to have Johnny Warren, but he didn't show up. Did he ever let you know?
Yeah, that was I don't want to break the fourth wall, but yeah, of course he did. He's a fucking great guy. Okay. So we'll have him back soon.
So you and Tim are doing bits now on the Unrelated show?
No, of course not.
Well, what's the fourth wall then?
What kind of fucking question is that? Have you watched it?
Well, you said he didn't show up.
Yes, I'm joking.
Yeah. So he did, so he did let you know.
Of course he did. He's a great guy.
So I didn't know where you guys were doing bits now. That's all on your show.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the hell are you talking about?
You're talking about what is wrong with me?
Where we're doing bits.
You said, we're going to break the fourth wall. What fourth wall that he didn't show up?
Well, I don't want to come out and be like, oh, yeah, I was joking. Like, obviously I was joking. You didn't think I was joking.
Well, it didn't sound like it on the show. I mean, I was half listening, but...
I appreciate my acting then. I'm going to take that as, hats off to me.
Yeah, bits Phil.
I appreciate it because I thought it was terrible. I thought I was terrible. I was half asleep, but whatever.
Bits Phil.
Yeah, I love a bit. God damn, you actually believe that? You fucking. You're the one. You're the one that believed that.
If you haven't seen the Unrelated show, it's actually not a bad episode this week. They had Bobby Costa on for a little while. Just got out of bed, so the girls tune in for that. And Brando comes on at the end and just. Again, poor guy is delirious because he's been up all night. Such a clout chaser. He should have just said no thanks.
What are your thoughts on the fact that that he was getting paid? He was on the clock for that.
No, I don't care. I'm not a dick.
No, not that. But it's fun. That is funny. Like,
yeah, I'm just trying to ruin his relationship. I don't want to get him fired. Okay, I've got lines.
I've got lines. Brado. My bad. I thought that was funny.
How does he go to clan meetings though if he's working all night?
That's true. Well, yeah, maybe he's working on the fires. I don't know. He's fucking. Yeah, he's got enough room in his truck for all the wood.
Yeah. So go and check out Jackson's Unrelated show with Tim during the week. Some nice words about cinema in there.
Appreciate that.
Wait, I saw this yesterday. KMS catch up came up again.
Yes.
I think what Duck's doing now is just sad. Like
why? I literally watched it today. Why?
But I just think like if he's actually doing the producer's job now, and he's been doing it for like a couple of years, and I just think he's being taken advantage of. And like it showed last year when they just forgot about him, basically, that they don't even appreciate it. And like, I just wonder. It's like me doing the third chair booking. People are like, why aren't you doing the third chair booking anymore? I'm like, well, because it's not my job. Like, I'm not going to do it for free. And like, that should be a show thing. Like, one of the producers should be cutting the catch up.
Who's this all fall on then? Is that on the producers? Is that on Kirk? You know?
No,
all the things.
No, it's on Duck. Like, if Duck wants to do it, he should do it. But I just think, wow.
I think he wants to do it, you know? Like, I think they got something good going on. He wants to do it. It gets put in the network. I'm sure he's happy that his product gets put on the network, you know?
Yeah.
He's happy.
I'm happy for him. It just seems like he's...
The way I see it, and again, it always goes back to the cynicism of, I don't think the producers are ever going to improve their, you know, initiative. And Minifans are out there that want to make stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of works, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the best that's ever going to be, you know?
I just feel like, I just feel like he's being taken advantage of. But if he's allowing that, it's like if you're in a relationship and you're being taken advantage of, that's your own fault.
Yeah, right. If you get abused by your husband, that's your fault. Yeah.
And now we're in the after show. Two things before we let you go.
Sure.
And firstly, it's May 4th, so we're recording this, and this will be airing on May 4th. So, as everyone would know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Great stuff. I've been watching Andor. Are you a Star Wars guy?
No, I watched. So I have no memory of it, but I have a couple of memories. But I saw episode 1 in the cinemas when I was 7. I think it came out in 2000 or 99.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely, that's it.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, and that's it. You've seen one movie. Great.
The big fight at the end. Anyway. Yeah,
so happy May 4th Day to all the Star Wars fans out there.
Movie talk.
Especially Justin, who absolutely loves it. And then Spaces. So there's a lot of Minifans that might not be aware of what's been going on in the Miniverse with these spaces. I said at the top of the show, I'm kind of sick of them. For those that aren't involved, I would say there's about 30 to 50 clearly desperate, lonely people. And most nights now, someone is starting a space. And like, it's interesting for us because we're on a different time zone. So
no, there's space offs. You know, someone doesn't agree with, you know, who's hosting one space. Someone starts another one. I know nobody gives a fuck about this, but I find it very funny. I don't find it funny, but there's Jake and he's a moron. And then there's a few people that are just dragging them down. But actually, when you get like, you know, some normal Minifans in there who can just talk without doing bits or yelling for attention or, you know, going, you know, you can actually have some good chats. Like, you know, it's a good way of connecting with other Minifans. And I've met a few people, but they're very hit or miss. Like, you might get one good one a week at the moment with, you know, just like there's too many dickheads in there. But it is certainly like really become like that's why it's addictive, because personally, like, I feel like I've like made friendships, you know, as fucking crazy as that sounds. Like you Darren Cunninghams, like great people like that. You know, now I'm talking to these people like every day for like, you know, however long. Yeah. You know, it feels good. You know, I get it.
Because it's interesting for us. We're like different. Like you can clearly listen while you're at work most of the time doing certain things. So that's great for you. You're working and you're listening to Big Dick O'Malley and all these idiots yapping away. It's, you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, there's some of these guys are up till 2 a.m. in spaces, 2-3 a.m. every night in spaces. And we actually get the whole, we listen and then people fall asleep and we're still awake. So I can see the spaces sometimes just going on with just people asleep in there for hours.
Shout out Don the Jeweler, first guy to snore in a space.
Yep. That's another Spaces joke. But they have got out of control. Like, they're just...
Well, listen, they've almost become... See, like, you're right. Because for me, like, 2 a.m. over there is 4 p.m. So it's
exactly.
I'm just sitting around talking.
Yeah, like half the time you're in your car on the way home, or I'm working and I've just got it on the side.
But there's all these drunk idiots, and the thing is that at that time, I don't know how often you listen to that time, but it becomes therapy a lot of the time. Like, it becomes serious. No, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but like people, like, tears are drawn. You know, like the people really like, it's a really. I know you say there's only like 50 people there, but it's become a phenomenon. Like, it's really,
it absolutely has. Really, and for me, when you take out the losers, I'm not going to name names, but when you take those people out, and they're not speakers, and they're not. It's, as I said, if you're a Minifan that doesn't want to do a show, but you're on Twitter, you'd like to talk to other Minifans, this is a good way of like meeting people.
I know what you're doing now. See, I know what you're doing. You're a fucking little sneaky cunt. Because I come out here. Sorry, I apologize for that word. But you come out here. I come out here and attacking you for Mike and the Minifans being dead because the spaces are taken over, right? Because everybody on Friday night sits on the spaces. Yeah. And this is you planting the seed. I know you too well now. This is you planting the seed of trying to get everyone to go on the spaces so that now you can come in and host, you know, like Michael Mena's Live or whatever the hell on a Friday night and be the man with your hundreds of listeners on the space. This is an ad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is an ad. I know how the game works.
I'm just saying.
This is. All right. Everybody out there.
Anyway, thanks for listening to the Aussie Minifan show. Anything, Jackson, before we wrap it up?
I'm good. Nah, happy days.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks.